Hello YouTube. Today I've got another camera. This is a Canonet 19, Bell & Howell Canon 19. I got this off of YouTube a little while ago, and like a lot of these that come from YouTube or anywhere, not YouTube, I'm sorry, eBay. Like a lot of these, it came with a stuck shutter, leaf shutter, and a stuck aperture. So I didn't make a video of removing the lenses, but I will show you what I will do to put them back together. But first, to get the shutter and aperture unstuck, I grabbed some isopropyl alcohol. Let me back up. First, I tried naphtha, which is what a lot of people recommend. I've used it on a lot of cameras with reasonably good success. However, on this one it didn't work. Naphtha is the same stuff that's in lighter fluid, and you'll see that on a lot of videos. Guys will recommend washing stuff with the lighter fluid. I tried that. I saturated the leaves. I got them to work a little bit, but as soon as the naphtha would dry up, the leaves would stick again. I did that several times, and ultimately, having failed with the naphtha, I got some isopropyl alcohol. This happens to be 91%. A higher percentage actually works better because it has a better evaporation rate. And what I did was, I took just an ordinary Q-tip, saturated it in the alcohol, and then saturated very gently the leaf shutter, and then I worked it like that and just kept working it for a while. Then I'd resaturate it and work it some more, and then I set it to bulb so it would stay open, and that allowed me to get in there and do the aperture iris, and again saturated it and worked it, and eventually it loosened up. And when I got it loose, I took a can of compressed air and I blew out all the alcohol and dried it up real good. And I did that once or twice, and then the shutter and aperture began to work properly. So in this case, the alcohol definitely was a better cleaning agent than the naphtha ever was. So when I originally took this apart, a lot of the videos say to go in through the back, and I looked at that, and it looked very complicated and very user friendly. So I decided to go through the front. And in the end, what I wound up taking out was, first of all, this skimpy little ring here that held in this lens, and it held it in onto this cupped lens holder, which in turn screwed down in. I'm going to show you how I'm going to put this thing back together. I discovered that if I had been more aware of how this thing was assembled, I could have taken just this piece out as a unit, but it didn't work out that way. So for the reassembly, I'm just going to give it a little wipe here with a lens cloth. Make sure I got as much dust as possible off. Wipe any crud or fingerprints off the outer lens. That looks pretty good. I'll set that down in there like that. I'm going to take that skimpy little outer ring and set it in there, and very gently I'm going to get it started. It's going to take a few tries because these things don't always cooperate. like it's not going to right now. So I'm going to take this new gizmo I just got. It's for removing these little rings. I got this off of eBay. Very cheap. It has the pointy things on one end and the flat screwdriver-ish things on the other. Oh, I got it crooked again. And it's going to take more than one try, probably. I know it did me. I think I got it this time. So I'll screw that in there. Going to need to adjust this a couple of times. Yep, there he is. Oh, still got it too wide. And you want to be careful when you're doing this, because you will be rubbing against, these corners will be rubbing against the threads on the inside. So you want to be very gentle. I just screw that thing down in there. I gotta close it up again a little bit. And I wound up giving this thing a lot of scratches it didn't have before. But that is a risk you take when you do your own work. So hopefully, if you find this, damn it, if you find this video helpful, it might save you some damage. You'll probably see the shiny spots here where I scratched it all up. Damn. Let's try the other end. Because now I'm down inside the thread well. That's better. So just gotta snug that thing in there until that lens doesn't rattle around. Make sure again that it's clean. It appears to be pretty clean. I've got a little bit of lens. Okay, so it seems like I got cut off. Showing you how to do the final installation. It was very basic. I used this here tool. I got that thing set in there, and then I very gently screwed it into place, seated it. I did not over tighten it, because you want to be very careful. Those threads are super tiny and it's very, very easy to damage. So a lot of the videos recommended going in through the back to get to the lens, and as you can see, the film opening is smaller than the rings that you have to take out. So for me, that wasn't a very practical option. As I said in other videos, I am not a camera mechanic. I just do some work on cameras. So to recap, I undid the outer ring, took out the outer lens, took out the inner, I don't know what it's called, but it holds the inner lens. It's a cone. It screws into place. And I did it with a different tool. I have since bought this gadget here, which is very nice. I got it on eBay for, I think it was like $12 or $13. It was very inexpensive. Very nicely made. And it's variable. So if you want the points to be to the inside, you can do that. In this case, I needed the points to be to the outside. And it comes with extra screws to hold it in place. It's got these nifty little tip covers that come with it, and I think this has been a very helpful and handy tool. It might have helped me not do some of the damage and scrape away the paint like I did in here when I initially took it apart. I'm assuming that the other Canon Canonet models are similar, and that you can get to the shutter and iris through the front if all you need to do is clean. Going through the front probably won't help you if there's damage inside there, but for just cleaning them and getting the leaves loosed up, that's how I did it. I went right through the front. And as I said, I started with naphtha. It didn't work very well. I switched to alcohol, and that did the trick. The first few times to get the shutter leaves to work, I took a toothpick and very, very, very gently nudged the leaves around, as I was holding the button, and until they snapped open. And after that, all I had to do was work it a few times while it was still wet with the alcohol. And the same with the leaves for the aperture on the inside. And when I got everything working the way I wanted it to, I took my compressed air, blew dry it out, used a Q-tip and some Windex to clean the innermost lens, because I got that all fouled up with the naphtha. And that's pretty much all there really was to it. It was not very complicated. It took a while, only because I had to find the right combination of products and methods. And I'm looking forward to taking this out this summer and seeing what it can do. The selenium meter does not work in this, but I didn't really expect it to, so I'll be using a handheld light meter. And hopefully it will be another success story. So until next time.